Okay. So what I'd like you guys to do today is to just finish your experimentation. Remember, you want to think about how you can do maybe a light line. It can even be broken. I'm going to come up really close here. You know, the line doesn't have to be complete to feel like a line. So this might be really good for like a really light detail, okay? Or you might have to do a dark line, but it's skinny, or a dark line that's thick or even fat, right? Or how can you go from thick to thin? So you probably can't tell, but on my paper here, I actually have it drawn out in pencil. Okay, it's drawn out in pencil. And my workspace just is not big enough for me to be able to show you the whole thing plus the still life. I'm going to unplug this and plug it back in so that it focuses. Let's see if it works now. There we go. Okay, so if you want to draw it out first in pencil, you totally can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my charcoal and I'm going to look at my pepper. So I want to keep it in the frame here, and I'm only going to get a little bit of the drawing done here because I don't want to waste your time. But what I want to do is I want to draw it out thinking about the value of it. So just like when we did the contour line drawing and we did the line weight, you can do the same thing here. You can do the same thing here, but just do it in much more expressive line. Okay, why is it still messing around here with the focus? Sorry, I'm gonna try it one more time. Got a new camera, and it doesn't work as good as my old one. Okay, so you want to look at the value. Now you can look at your cropped photo if you want to, but make sure your photo is nice and big and like clear so you can see the details. I'm drawing from the actual pepper. So if you still have it and you can, great, but it's not mandatory because I knew that it wasn't going to last very many days, okay? Especially if people are hungry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, and this line here is not super like light. It's not like the lightest values of the white core, but it's still relatively light. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw it in, right? And then when it starts to get thicker, I'm going to start to use, or darker I should say, I'm going to start to use a thicker line. All right, so I'll put that in the screen so you actually can see what I just did. And then this inner line is really light. So I'm going to do kind of like a broken line here. And then when it gets white, I really want to leave it kind of broken. And then here, it's kind of like a thicker, darker line. There's like a little bit more detail. So I can go in there and add more like heavy line. But I'm trying to draw using my whole arm, right? So if it's a light line, keep it nice and light. It can barely be a mark. Now, when it comes to the seeds, think about the size of the seeds in relationship to all the other details, but also pay attention to the direction. When I look here, my seeds are all different shapes, and there's a sense of overlap. Okay, I can draw them kind of out the way that I see them, right? And if I need to, I can always go back in and add more value. So like, I can still go in there and add some shadow to them if I want to. Right? So really try to be loose. Don't try to like overdo it, right? And I don't want to do too much because I want to give you a chance to work, but I need something that's maybe a little bit darker. So like when it starts to become shadow, it's okay for my line to get real thick. Okay, so I don't want you worrying about shading anything in yet. All I want you to focus on is your line quality. think about how you can represent value with like a light line, a line that goes from light to dark or thin to thick, right? And how you can represent the details. You will be able to go back in and put some basic value in, but we want to emphasize the mark making quality of this. We don't want to overblend or lose the line. Do you guys have any questions?